After the July uprising, we have seen that the Indian government has taken the side of a fascist regime that has fled Bangladesh. We call on them to ensure that Hasina is handed over to the government of Bangladesh because she is facing trial in Bangladesh, and in order to ensure justice, it's really necessary that Sheikh Hasina is in Bangladesh. Other than that, we call on the Indian government to really ensure that we have a relationship based on mutual trust, mutual respect, and only that can ensure that regional stability, regional prosperity is preferred over communal interest, over factional and party interests. Concerned about the law and order situation, we have recently seen violence break out in Chittagong, where a BNP leader was attacked, and what would really ensure a free and fair election is that the government is very serious about law and order situation. The government has to act really swiftly if any violence breaks out, so that those who are prone to causing violence get the message very clearly that no violence has no place in our electoral system. That has been the fear, because if you look at the history of Bangladesh, political violence has been there, and political violence becomes more acute surrounding the election. So a lot depends on how the government really handles law and order situation going forward. First of all, we need reform. No one questions that necessity. But how we really get the reform, there has been differences of opinion among different political parties. It doesn't really matter to National Citizen Party when the referendum is held. It can happen on the election day or it can happen before. But what really matters is the referendum is credible and held in a free and fair and festive atmosphere. Regarding the July Charter signing and its implementation, we have really two key demands. In the July Charter, many parties have attached notes of dissent, but what we are saying is if you attach note of dissent in the referendum question, then the referendum loses its value. Because political parties are saying whatever note of dissent we attach to, we'll be able to do that no matter what the result of the referendum is. In that case, political parties can just publish their manifesto and they can ignore the result of the referendum. Then the referendum loses its value. So we have to ensure that in the referendum questions, we do not have opportunities for notes of dissent. Secondly, the question of the order that the government has. Secondly is the order that will ensure the referendum has legal validity, and the order will ensure that the next parliament has dual status of parliament and as well as reform assembly. What we are saying is that order has to be published as soon as possible. The government must pass the order very soon in order to ensure that we really march forward towards the referendum and the election. It's very clear that the existing political parties has not been able to meet the aspirations of the people of our country. Existing political parties are often accused of resorting to practices that values power over service. From NCP, we want to ensure that politics is about service. Secondly, existing political parties are accused of corruption, widespread corruption. And from NCP, we want to take a very strong stance against corruption. Existing political parties also have the record of dismantling people's rights. And we want to ensure that the rights that is protected for every citizen is actually translated into practice. The current situation in Bangladesh is not really impacting regional stability. But that risk always remains when the regional partners do not act equitably. We have always been saying that Bangladesh has a friendly view towards its neighbors. We also call on our Indian counterparts. We have a very friendly relationship with the people of India. After the July uprising, we have seen that the Indian government has taken the side of a fascist regime that has fled Bangladesh. We call on them to ensure that Hasina is handed over to the government of Bangladesh because she is facing trial in Bangladesh. And in order to ensure justice, it's really necessary that Sheikh Hasina is in Bangladesh. Other than that, we call on the Indian government to really ensure that we have a relationship based on mutual trust, mutual respect, and only that can ensure that regional stability, regional prosperity is preferred over communal interest, over factional and party interests. Bangladesh always wants a good relationship with all of its neighbors, be that India, be that Myanmar, be that Pakistan. We want good relationship with all the countries. But that relationship has to be based on equality. That relationship has to be based on mutual respect, mutual interests. And we call on India to respect our mutual interests and focus on building a relationship, not with a particular party in Bangladesh, rather with the people of Bangladesh. We are planning to field candidates in all the seats, so there is no final conversation about any alliances. If there is any alliances to happen, that has to be based on our party's core values, that is reform, that is justice of the July victims and of the victims of the last 15 years. If political parties prefer that, if political parties prioritize that, then of course we might have communality with them. But other than that, we right now do not have any alliances with any party. We do not think that the minorities needs to be looked at just a vote bank. Minorities needs to be looked at from the rights perspective. Political parties need to respect the rights and responsibilities, rights of the minorities. Only then they become equal citizens and they think about voting different parties. If you look at the July uprising, during the July uprising, people from many different religious backgrounds, Hindu, Muslim, Christians, Buddhists, all came together shoulder to shoulder in order to ensure that Bangladesh is just, Bangladesh is prosperous. And immediately after the July uprising, you have seen that neighbors protected temples. So Bangladesh has a proud history of peaceful coexistence of different minorities. Sometimes some political parties try to take advantage of the minorities, try to stoke division, but we must stay above that. We must ensure that the rights of minorities are protected. We must ensure that they can vote based on policies, not vote based on fear, that if they elect certain parties, they may not have safety and security. That has to be a ritual of the past. That has to be a thinking of the past. The new Bangladesh must ensure the rights of all of its citizens, no matter their religious background. Of course, the interim government has not been able to fulfill all of people's expectations. People had a lot of expectation, and if you say the interim government has done splendidly, that really would not be very true. But the interim government, we have to remember that, have inherited an economic system that was very, very fragile. The interim government has inherited a mess in terms of law and order situation, and they're acting from that reality. Could they do any better? We think they should have done better. But has it been all failure? We do not think so. The economy has stabilized. The law and order situation has stabilized to some extent, but still concerns remain. The interim government's biggest test would be ensuring that the reform agenda is prioritized. They have to ensure that they deliver on the justice agenda, and also they have to ensure that they deliver us a free and fair and credible election.